Let's go across to Parliament where Ashwini Vaishnav is speaking. Let's listen in.
अभी हाल ही में कर्नाटक की एक रिपोर्ट है टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया की, 32 सुसाइड 31 महीनों में, ये टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया में 20 तारीख को छपा है। और उनके गृह मंत्री जी ने भी मतलब एक ऐसे करीब इस्टेब्लिश हो गया है कि ऑनलाइन गेमिंग के कारण, मनी गेमिंग के कारण सीरियस इम्पैक्ट आ रहा है फैमिलीज पे, मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग हो रही है, टेरर सपोर्ट हो रहा है। अध्यक्ष जी, वर्ल्ड हेल्थ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने अपनी रिपोर्ट में स्पष्ट कहा है कि एसोसिएशन बिटवीन ऑनलाइन मनी गेम्स एंड कंपल्सिव बिहेवियर, साइकोलॉजिकल डिस्ट्रेस, फाइनेंशियल हार्डशिप, डिसरप्शन ऑफ फैमिली लाइफ, उन्होंने इसको ऑनलाइन गेमिंग का डिसऑर्डर एक नया घोषित किया है। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, इसीलिए इस बिल में 2 भाग हैं। 3 सेगमेंट में से 2 सेगमेंट को सरकार प्रमोट करना चाहती है, ई स्पोर्ट्स को, ऑनलाइन सोशल गेमिंग को। उसके लिए अथॉरिटी बनाएंगे, गेम मेकर्स को सहायता देंगे, स्कीम करेंगे। लेकिन माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, जब समाज के बारे में, मध्यम वर्गीय परिवारों के बारे में और इंडस्ट्री के एक सेगमेंट के बारे में, जब समाज के बारे में और सरकार के रेवेन्यू के बारे में चिंता करनी होती है, इन दोनों के बीच में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने हमेशा मध्यम वर्गीय परिवार को ही चुना है, हमेशा समाज के बेनिफिट को ही चुना है, कभी इसमें कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं किया है। और इस बिल में भी प्राथमिकता दी गई है समाज के कल्याण को, और समाज में जो बहुत एक बड़ी बुराई आ रही है उससे बचने के लिए ये बिल लाया गया। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा इस हाउस से इसको यूनानिमसली पास करें।
मैं माननीय सदस्यों से आग्रह करता हूं, इस महत्वपूर्ण विधेयक पर चर्चा करें। आप अपनी अपनी सीट पर जाके विराजें, आप चर्चा करें, मैं चर्चा का अवसर दूंगा। इस विधेयक पर आपके सुझाव, अमूल्य सुझाव मिले। आप चर्चा नहीं करना चाहते, विधेयक पर डिबेट नहीं करना चाहते, महत्वपूर्ण विधेयक पर नाराबाजी करना चाहते हैं। प्रश्न ये है कि विधेयक पर विचार किया जाए। जो सदस्य इसके पक्ष में हाँ गए, जो सदस्य विरोध में ना गए, आपको ये पता है ना आप किस पे ना कर रहे हैं? सुनाई दे रहा आप किस पे ना कर रहे हैं? जो विरोध में वो ना गए, मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में विधेयक पर विचार करने तो प्रस्ताव को स्वीकृत किया गया। अब सभा विधेयक पर खंडवार विचार करेगी कि प्रश्न खंड 2 से 20 विधेयक का अंग बने। जो सदस्य के पक्ष में हाँ गए, जो सदस्य विरोध में ना गए, मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में खंड 2 से 20 विधेयक का अंग बना। प्रश्न ये कि खंड 1 अधिनियम सूत्र उद्देशिका विधेयक का पूरा विधेयक का अंग बने। जो सदस्य इसके पक्ष में हाँ गए, जो सदस्य विरोध में ना गए, मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में खंड 1 अधिनियम सूत्र उद्देशिका और विधेयक का पूरा नाम विधेयक का अंग बना। माननीय मंत्री जी, अब प्रस्ताव करें कि विधेयक को पारित किया जाए।
Honorable Speaker, sir, I rise to move that the bill be passed.
प्रश्न ये है कि विधेयक को पारित किया जाए। जो सदस्य इसके पक्ष में हाँ गए, जो सदस्य विरोध में ना गए, मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में प्रस्ताव स्वीकृत हुआ, विधेयक पारित हुआ। सभा की कार्रवाई गुरुवार दिनांक 21 अगस्त 2025 को प्राप्त 11 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
All right, House adjourned with the introduction and passage of the cyber bill on gaming. The gaming bill there, online gaming bill was introduced, as we saw, and Minister Ashwini Vaishnav spoke quite extensively on the need for why they needed this online gaming bill to really monitor what's happening on online, this sort of addiction, he called it. He said that this is an online gaming disorder that is being found in many parts of the country, that he gave statistics about suicides also that are being caused or driven by this online gaming addiction, and he says it's causing the destruction of family life as well. But this has been a huge shock to the billion-dollar gaming industry in India that has been growing by leaps and bounds over the last couple of years. Now it has been passed in the Lok Sabha. Many have have concerns over whether this means that it will now go underground. So let's take you through all these details. The online gaming bill is to regulate digital gaming in India. It seeks to regulate online gaming platforms and curb the surge of illegal betting activities. This has been sparked by fraud cases linked to betting apps and celebrity promotions. The draft law aims to bring the entire space under the structured legal framework. So the bill has just been passed in the Lok Sabha amid all that ruckus, as you could hear. However, it was passed. Now, this would ban all money-based online games, whether based on skill or chance. Outlaw advertisements also for such platforms, and block banks and financial institutions from processing any transactions. These are some of the details that this bill has in it, and violators could even face up to 3 years in jail and fines, according to the draft. The gaming industry, which was growing by leaps and bounds, is in shock over this. It's really game over for these betting apps, and they've also warned that the ban will kill jobs and boost illegal gambling networks. This is something that has also been mentioned, by some of the politicians as well. Karti Chidambaram has come out, quite vocally against this bill, saying that it needs a closer look, and industry people should also be consulted about this bill. Well, to talk more about this and what it really means and the reason for this online gaming bill, we're now joined by Badri Narayanan, executive partner Lakshmi Kumaran, Sridharan attorneys, Khushbu Jain, cyber law expert, Lokesh Suji, director esports Federation of India, and Sumedha Mahajan, Head of Marketing, Amverse DMI, India's biggest collegiate esports tournament organizers. Thank you so much for joining us, all of you, on this. And it's very timely, given that the bill was just passed right now in the Lok Sabha. Sumedha Mahajan, I'd like to start with you. Your comments on, what we just heard the minister talk about, where he spoke about online gaming as an addiction. He said that it's also become a kind of disorder and is leading to suicides in parts of the country.
Hi, thanks. I think bills just passed, and we're all grappling with the impact of it. And I think it'll take some time for all of us to understand the intricacies. But I think one of the things the minister spoke about is the categorization of gaming, right? So he very vocally spoke about social gaming, promoting competitive video gaming and esports. And I think that's something that we at Amverse have been doing for the past 3 years. And very happy to work with the government and all stakeholders to ensure that it's done in the right structured, regulated manner that the government would want it. But definitely welcome the recognition of esports as a separate category.
So relief for you, given that esports is being considered separately. Lokesh, Suji, similarly for you as well, esports is a separate category. But if you can also talk about these concerns and, how this industry has been growing, how, it seems to have caused a lot of, there is some amount of addiction, we're told, a disorder as well. We've also seen, the Enforcement Directorate investigating the entire matter, saying that money laundering is involved. The minister talking about, terror funding as well, being tied to some of these online gaming apps.
Thanks for having me here. See, it is very important and to differentiate, when we say online gaming. So, esports
Money
also
gaming,
comes
yes.
under online gaming. Yeah. So similarly, the casual games also come under online gaming. So I think the biggest boon which this bill has given to the whole video gaming sector per se is that it has very clearly differentiated what is esports, what is online money games, and what is social gaming. So this was something which was long pending. And for the last 14, 15 years, as a federation, we have been trying to bring that kind of a differentiation. So so the question which you really asked me now, honestly, they don't apply to us. because we got nothing to do with money laundering, right? It's a sport. It is recognized by the Olympics. It is recognized by our government also. So all these questions, very honestly, Gagi, don't apply to us, and that is the problem. Now, what happens is that the people who play our games or esports game titles, we are talking about games like, let's say, a FIFA or a cricket-based video game, a championship happening on a cricket-based video game. So those youngsters, are from an age group of, let's say, 14 to maybe 24, 25. So these guys are not playing these games from making money or betting, gambling, money laundering, and all those things. So the way, unfortunately, everybody was just saying that, online gaming, and we as esports or, our colleagues and friends from the video gaming industry, we all used to gabble around with that, what is happening? Somebody talking about 28% GST. Somebody, and as you said that, industry will get destroyed and all those things. Very honestly, see, we don't represent that kind of a sector. And thanks. And, with both our folded hands and, on behalf of all of our community, we really thank the government today that they have very categorically differentiated this. Last to last year, also, Mighty had come up with some documentation wherein we had, again given our inputs, and there was a little bit of, but still, that particular document or that particular proposal had a very gray line in the terms of differentiating esports, video games, and now obviously, our government has given a new definition, which is online money gaming, which is
Yes,
OMG.
online money gaming
So,
is the
money
specific.
gaming. So now next time, Gagi, I would expect that, when let's say you or, your friends or media friends are talking about, let's say, betting, gambling, this thing, they'll be using a term online money gaming instead of just saying online gaming.
Right.
So
Well,
this is a
sometimes
big
that's
boom.
the lack of space. We couldn't fit in all of that, but
And
we have made that
right,
distinction in our graphics. If you see that, the details that we're giving there. But Badri Narayanan, you
correct.
please
Yeah.
come in here and comment on this bill that has been passed in the Lok Sabha we just saw, and the need for it. And I think a lot of people in recent years have seen this. The Enforcement Directorate is going around investigating, and all these celebrities are being spoken to because they were advertising, or they were featuring in some ads for these online gaming platforms. So it's all become one big haze. And now what we're hearing from the esports experts here is there's some relief that this is going to bring some sort of distinction also in this online gaming and online money gaming.
Yeah.
Money gaming, correct.
First and foremost, thank you for having me on this show. And this is a sector which I've been tracking for the last 10 years, and I've been representing some of the players. I'm very happy with the enthusiasm shown by Esport Gaming Federation on the fact that they've been differentiated from online money games. But considering the way our government's policy can be, which can change from time to time, I wish them that they continue to flourish and do well. My concern is that this bill basically differentiates three categories of games. One is your casual games, social casual games. One is e-games and esports games, where also you spend a lot of money to buy points, you buy items, you use crypto at times. There are so many other aspects which are present in those games. And then, of course, you have online money games, which really fall into two categories. One are skill-based games, and one are games that are probably based on chance. The government basically clubs all of these three and says three things. One, anyone who aids, abets, or is providing the online money games will be prohibited from doing so. It then says that anyone who advertises or a celebrity who comes and promotes this will also not be allowed. And then it finally says that banks will not transact with these companies. So effectively, you have taken an industry where there has been 25,000 crores worth of investment in the last 10 years, an industry where you have regulated based on GST, based on income tax, based on other consideration for the last 10 years, right from service tax regime, right from income tax regime, gave it some level of sense of belonging. And then you have almost 2 lakh people who are attached directly and indirectly to this industry, which probably are overnight going to lose their employment. And you consider that the most appropriate way of being able to do this is to provide for a complete ban, as opposed to providing any other means. Okay, the MeitY itself has been talking about self-regulatory bodies. MeitY itself has been talking about other ways by which it can be regulated. Several states have provided for blackout times. They provide for children not being allowed to be played, other regulations. So to say that this is the best way, I think constitutionally there could be some challenges that the government would face with respect to this bill. But of course, more once we have a greater understanding of what this bill and its implications are going to be.
That's right. Khushbu Jain, if you'd like to add something here, there have also been fears expressed that this could take this online, betting or gaming underground. That is another possibility if this when this law comes in place.
I think because there were underground activities that were happening and it was becoming very difficult for the law enforcement agencies to catch hold of these people is where this law is coming in. And I'll just take 5 minutes, Gargi, to make it understand that this has been a shift from the traditional way where there was a distinction that was being made between game of skill and game of chance. And this difference was critical because game of skill was generally being permitted as a legitimate business activity, while game of chance were treated as gambling or others which were prohibited by the different state laws. Now, because of these distinctions, it was being seen that all the gaming platforms or some of the gaming platforms were being attempting to bypass this entire categorization or distinction which was provided under the law and via various judgments by the courts. And they used to bypass this by offering game of skills even when they were having a predominance of game of chance. Now, this bypassing, along with the challenge which was there when it comes to this being a state subject, concurrent subject, the states had different laws when it comes to governing what is permitted as game or what is considered as gambling, created a lot of regulatory challenges. And this was being misused by the companies who wanted to practically make use of this situation and create platforms where they would cheat people. They would create apps, gaming apps, where you would win at least 5 times, 6 times, sometimes 2 times, and then they would just disappear after taking your entire money. And because they don't exist anywhere, they are from any offshore places, it became difficult for enforcement agencies to enter at the real time, number one. After even having a knowledge, it became a difficulty to regulate this entire space or enforce the law which is already existing in the country. I think looking at all these challenges, the government is trying to shift from this entire deviation of state laws plus skill and chance and going that online money game. Looking at what is happening in the country, let there be complete ban to it. Let there be enhancement when it comes to esports, because esports has been considered, it was been played in the Olympic as well. There are other countries who have recognized it. So giving a recognition to healthy gaming, to esports, to social gamings, and making sure that online money game which is being utilized is completely curtailed. And for that, they have gone a step ahead. They are not just creating a regulation. If you look into the law, it's a very small bill if you look into it. And it just talks about, number one, anybody who is creating or providing it, online money game, is punishable offense. Also the endorsement and also the bank who would facilitate any kind of bank account. So practically trying to cover the entire area where any loophole could be left.
All right. Well, thank you so much. All, we're completely out of time. Thank you so much for joining us, on the program. And this just as the bill was passed in the Lok Sabha. Now, we also have a reaction on this from the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. We speak to the Secretary, whether is there any sort of middle path and will the gaming industry really survive this government action?
Can you start by explaining the thinking behind this bill and what the intent is?
Thank you for having me on your show. The intent behind this bill is that the government believes that there is a large segment of gaming development gamers, and there's an entire ecosystem there, which can potentially make India the game development capital of the world. And a number of measures have been taken to actually support that. The National Institute of Creative Technology is coming up in Mumbai. STPI, which functions under MeitY, has centers of excellence both in Hyderabad as part of T-Hub and also in the Northeast. And we are working through a number of other ways by which gaming-related development is being focused on. One of the issues which has repeatedly come up in the gaming sector has been clarity on classification. Many parts of the gaming sector believe that they are tarred by association, and there is a segment of the gaming sector which is causing distress, financial distress, social distress, related to addiction and so on. One part of it is doing that, whereas another part is really positively oriented in terms of gamification, development, content development, creative development, and so on. Government's intent is very clear that the portion which relates to the positive outcomes needs to be encouraged and developed. And for that, a clear delineation has to be made between the two parts of the industry. And therefore, there's a clear definition which has been offered in this act of within online gaming of esports and online social games, which include both recreational and educational games. So these two on the one side have been taken up for special attention for development and further promotion. And on the other side are the online money games, which involve a number of other games which are proving to be addictive and problematic. This is a concern which has been raised in multiple parliamentary committees by people from across the political spectrum. The ministry has also been receiving a lot of these issues as elements of concern. And within the government, there's been considerable concern in this area. And many people who offer even other forms of games have actually represented to government saying that this clarity needs to be given and there needs to be a mechanism by which the online social gaming industry, the online esports industry needs to be supported and developed. Sure. So that is the primary focus. May
I ask, sir? So, a couple of things have happened. Of course, this classification is important. Although the classification between skill and luck now has been extinguished. It's about money or no money, online money gaming, and other categories.
You see, the point here is that between skill and luck, because I think this slight gray area in the law has been used by a number of the proponents and platforms of this game to actually argue what suits them in different jurisdictions. There are no games of pure chance. Pure chance would mean that it is equivalent to a coin toss. And in a coin toss, the outcome should be 50-50. 50% of the time you win, 50% of the time you lose. That kind of thing doesn't actually come out in real life in any of these games. It's a combination of skill and luck. Skill and chance. Both of them are there. They're not pure chance in all cases. There is a combination of skill and chance. And that is being used as to saying that state governments cannot legislate in this area because state governments are empowered only to regulate betting and gambling, which is an item under the state list. Now, other forms of games are part of broader trade and commerce. And in fact, in one of the cases, the Madras High Court has ruled that even if a state government wants to regulate games of skill within their boundaries, within the boundary of a state, then it is regulating trade and commerce, and that is permissible under the Constitution. The Government of India has the power under List 1 of the Constitution to take up matters under item, I think it's 41 and 42, which deal with which deal with trade and commerce, interstate trade and commerce, and cross-border trade and commerce. Many of these games are offered on the basis of either interstate or cross-border trade and commerce. And therefore, I think it is legitimately within the Government of India's remit to legislate on this. And the distinction of looking at between is it a game of pure chance and pure skill is something which is very difficult to decide in such cases, and it will be an endless debate. The problem is the social distress is real. People losing money, assuming or thinking that they have the skills to beat whatever is the system on the other side is a constant temptation. And this is the social distress I think the government has recognized.
All right, so social distress is the reason for bringing this bill in. Well, to talk more about the impact it's going to have on the industry, we're now joined by Nitish Mittal Sen, CEO, Nazara Technologies Limited. Nazara Technologies has a stake in PokerBaazi. Thank you so much for speaking to us. What is the expected impact on employment, content, pipeline and acquisition strategy specific to real money gaming?
देखिए, जो मीडिया रिपोर्ट से सुनने में आए, जो ये गेमिंग बिल प्रस्तुत होएगा पार्लियामेंट में, तो उससे पहली बात तो है कि नज़ारा हमारी जो कंपनी है उसके रेवेन्यूज और एबिटा पे जीरो इम्पैक्ट है, कुछ ही इम्पैक्ट नहीं रहेगा, क्योंकि हम रियल मनी गेमिंग बिजनेस को कंसोलिडेट नहीं करते हैं। हमारे पास एक इन्वेस्टमेंट है मूनशाइन टेक्नोलॉजीज में 46% का, और वो एसोसिएट कंपनी है हमारी, तो वही लेवल तक हमारा इम्पैक्ट कर्टेल रहेगा। ओवरऑल जो रियल मनी गेमिंग इंडस्ट्री है, अगर जैसे मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स कह रही है कि उसके ऊपर बैन लग सकता है या काफ़ी स्ट्रिंजेंट मेजर्स आ सकते हैं, तो ओवरऑल रियल मनी गेमिंग इंडस्ट्री में ज़रूर काफ़ी इम्पैक्ट रहेगा। पर थोड़ा डिटेल्स एक बार मिल जाए बिल के, तो हमें और स्पेसिफिक इंफॉर्मेशन रहेगी कि क्या इम्पैक्ट आने वाला है।
All right, and that bill, in fact, has been introduced in the Lok Sabha. Now, are there, any discussions with the government or industry groups to seek some sort of regulatory exceptions, alternative frameworks, or even transitional relief?
अभी बहुत जल्दी है, बिकॉज ये खबर कल ही सबको मिली है। आज बिल शायद प्रस्तुत होएगा। एक बार सबको एक बार समझ में आए कि क्या प्रपोज हो रहा है, फिर आई एम श्योर कि इंडस्ट्री एसोसिएशंस जो बेस्ट कर सकते हैं अपना बेस्ट फुट फॉरवर्ड रखेंगे।
How does Nazara plan to mitigate financial, any operation impact on online money games if they're entirely banned in India?
नज़ारा एक ग्लोबल डाइवर्सिफाइड गेमिंग प्लेटफॉर्म है आउट ऑफ इंडिया, और हमारा जो कोर बिजनेस है वो गेमिंग आईपीज मोबाइल पे, पीसी पे, कंसोल पे हम चलाते हैं, और वो काफ़ी प्रॉफिटेबल बिजनेस हमारे लिए, फास्ट ग्रोइंग बिजनेस है। तो हमारी पूरी स्ट्रैटेजी है उस बिजनेस पे डबल डाउन करके ग्रोथ लाते रहेंगे। इस क्वार्टर में Q1 में हमने 100% रेवेन्यू ग्रोथ दिखाया था, लगभग 80% एबिटा ग्रोथ दिखाया था, और ओवर 100% पैट ग्रोथ दिखाया था। तो हम अग्रेसिवली ग्रोथ हमारी कंपनी में करते रहेंगे विद मोर फोकस ऑन कोर गेमिंग आईपी। जो हमारी पोकरबाजी की इन्वेस्टमेंट है, इस बिल के आने के बाद एक बार हमें समझ में आएगा कि क्या चैलेंजेस है या नहीं है, वो बिजनेस को हम इवॉल्व करेंगे और अडेप्ट करेंगे।
जी, नीतीश जी, व्हाट इज द फ्यूचर आउटलुक फॉर पोकरबाजी? जब ये बिल पास होगा, अभी लोकसभा में पास हुआ है, आर देयर प्लान्स टू पिवट टू फ्री टू प्ले और इंटरनेशनल मार्केट्स?
उसमें पोकरबाजी में टेक्नोलॉजी प्लेटफॉर्म काफ़ी स्ट्रांग है, और इंटरनेशनल मार्केट्स एक अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी हो सकती है। इंडिया में भी अलग तरीके से वो चल सकता है, बट हमें अभी सब स्पेकुलेशन है। एक बार थोड़ा हमें समझ में आए कि रेगुलेशन क्या है, तो उसके हम उसको कंप्लाई कैसे करें और उसके साथ अडेप्ट कैसे करें, वो हम कुछ आगे के दिनों में डिसाइड करेंगे।
और आपका जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है पोकरबाजी में, उसका क्या होगा? व्हाट विल हैपन टू दैट इन्वेस्टमेंट? you've made an 800 crore investment. You also hold compulsory convertible shares of 255 crore.
देखिए, अगेन जो आउटकम कुछ आगे के दिनों में समझ में आएगा, फाइनल आउटकम इसका क्या रहता है। एक बार हमें आउटकम समझ में आए और एक बार हमें इम्पैक्ट समझ में आए, जो भी कॉन्जर्वेटिव अकाउंटिंग अप्रोच रहेगा वो हम ज़रूर करेंगे। नज़ारा हमेशा कॉन्जर्वेटिव कंपनी रही है, ट्रांसपेरेंट कंपनी रही है। आपने देखा होगा कि मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स के हिसाब से हमने आज सुबह मार्केट आवर्स के पहले क्लैरिफिकेशन भी दिया है, और आगे भी हम इसी तरह से ट्रांसपेरेंटली एक्शन लेते रहेंगे।
All right, Nitish Mitra Sen, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV.